Apple is just now releasing some updated App Store guidelines, which it does every year in anticipation of new operating system. But one interesting section here is what Apple is saying about streaming games. And what they're saying is that streaming game services are permitted, but each game in that service must be submitted to the App Store as an individual app. So Apple says that policy is in place to protect the customer, but that is a potential problem for some big tech powerhouses like Microsoft, for example, that are releasing these new cloud game streaming services. And these are services where you would sign up and then access a bunch of games from the cloud. Of course, in that model, Apple doesn't know what you're playing. It has not approved each game in that service. And companies like Microsoft have said that's an issue because those policies that are put in place here would prevent them from launching these kind of new services in Apple devices. So a real basic tension here between App Store rules and how these new game services are structured, potentially, of course, setting up some new tension between Apple and heavyweights like Microsoft, Kelly.
All right, Josh, stay right there as Alphabet and Microsoft shares also hit session lows, down 1.5%. Apple selling off as well. Let's bring in CNBC's tech reporter, Kif Leswing. Kif, to boil down for us the importance of these changes. You know, I just downloaded Stadia on my phone to try to understand what's going on here. And there is just this long, long list of all of these games that you can play because it's aggregating this content. Are you telling me that you're no longer going to be able to use the app that way?
Yeah, that's exactly right. What Apple wants is Apple wants every game on Stadia to have its own listing on the App Store. So that means, you know, if you had a puzzler game, that would also mean you'd need to be able to download it from the App Store and not just access it through the Stadia app.
How infuriated are Microsoft and Google likely to be by this move, Kif, and why do you think Apple would make such a provocative gesture?
Well, you know, Apple really values its control of the App Store. It says, you know, it's for safety and security so the users know that they're going to have a great experience. But, you know, a lot of people think that these streaming gaming services are going to be the future of gaming. And so Microsoft is going to be upset. I haven't heard from them today, but, you know, a couple of weeks ago, they put out this really this statement that said, you know, Apple stands alone as the only general purpose platform to deny consumers. So they're likely to be heated.
Josh, what does that mean for Apple, and why would they make a move like this at a time like this when they're already under a lot of antitrust scrutiny over the App Store practices?
Yeah, well, so Apple is going to say, Kelly, I mean, Kif is right. Apple's going to say, listen, we have policies in place, and these policies we're putting in place are to protect the customers. We want to review every app. If the app is going to use a payment processing system, it should be our system. The safety and security, they'll argue, is one reason the store has been so successful in the first place. It's why there's almost 2 million apps available to consumers. To your point, Kelly, it is certainly coming at an interesting time for Apple. We know the App Store is under increasing scrutiny from regulators. There, of course, is that nasty ongoing fight with Fortnite creator Epic. I have not heard Apple, though, budge an inch, though, on some of these issues. They have remained very firm, saying, listen, most of their apps are free. You know the arguments. When they do charge a commission, it's largely in line with other digital marketplaces, and they'll argue competition is live and well. To Kif's point, they must have known this would certainly frustrate some big tech heavyweights like Microsoft, like Google, but this is the policy they have in place.
Kif, quick last word. I'm also looking at shares of the video game makers like EA. I mean, if I can go from having hundreds of games in one app to access to having to download each of them individually, wouldn't that hurt the game developers as well?
Yeah, I mean, it's really about controlling the customer, and this goes to Epic, too. Epic wants its own game store. That's part of the reason that they're battling Apple. And it's really, you know, the game developers want to be able to access their customers directly, and the big guys want to bundle them up.